Yeah. Let's move to the other team in the Texas state. Let's go to the Dallas Mavericks because I think they're
Ugh.
in a bit of a what feels like a mid off, just
Yes.
because of the pieces that they have, the way the team is constructed, the way that Mark Cuban has kind of wasted away some of Luka Doncic's career at this point. The Dallas Mavericks are, I don't know how to describe them in a sense, but I would say that I don't know. It's like they're in limbo. Like they don't want to be good. They might want to be good. Like I'm confused on them as a team myself. So I'll kind of leave it to you guys to think like what are the Dallas Mavericks and what do they do best? Like who are they?
I'll go first because I actually think I'm higher on them than you guys. Like, I know just looking at their roster, it looks like they're kind of just mid, and I agree. Like, it's not the best roster, but I think built like the roster they built around Luka and Kyrie is best for those two guys. Obviously, you could upgrade at some positions, but I think Grant Williams was a really good add. He's a big body who can guard forwards and bigs, and he can space the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I think drafting Oliver Maxence Prosper was a great draft. Like, and he looked pretty good in summer league. Huge guy, he can move his feet, guard wings. I think he'll get some PT on this team. Derek Jones Jr., a dirty guy. Rashawn Holmes, a good backup center. Like they fixed their problem last year. Like they got centers, they got youth, they got guys who defend. Complete opposite of like Christian Wood and can't remember Reggie Bullock, who can't hit a shot to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think like if you see this team in a playoff setting, Luka and Kyrie is a disaster to deal with. Like I think they could beat anybody. I don't know how you stop that. You can't scheme for that. You can't. There's just no, especially with shooting around them. Josh Green is better. He's defending and he's shooting. Maxi Kleber, if he can stay healthy, unlocks a lot for this team. You can play him at small ball 5. You can play him at the 4 next to a center.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they have a lot of different ways they can play and be effective on offense. So I think and then if they can just maintain some defense, they'll be a nightmare.
I feel very opposite to you, Brad. I'll be straight up with you. I think this roster is just dog water.
Dang, dog water.
I'm sorry. I really, God, I kind of think they are. I think they're still hampered with their biggest problem, which is just bad coaching. Say what you will, I will not be convinced that Jason Kidd is a good coach. I just can't be. I've seen far too many times where he is literally just beating bad rotations into the dirt just for the sake of being a stubborn old guy that used to play in the league. And I just don't think that works, man. I just don't think he's a guy that's going to get you over the hump. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. This dude is not... I just don't think he's anywhere near the top layer of coaches in the league. Like, it's not even a question.
On that would be how he dismantled the Suns in the playoffs 2 years ago. That would be my only pushback.
But that's the Suns, man. I honestly chalk that up to Luka. I mean, if they didn't have Luka just literally being the guy.
Luka was a big part of it, but like he let Spencer Dinwiddie like rock out and Jalen Brunson, and like he had specific lineups with Luka and Hardaway, and I don't know, man. I think he deserves some credit for that.
I mean, I won't take it away, but I mean, to be fair, I really didn't think very highly of that Suns team, to be fair. Like, I thought that Suns team was just a bunch of head cases, like, coming into that series. And we saw it. Look at it. I mean, they got absolutely fried in that last game because they just gave up. You know, was that Jason Kidd or was that a mix of all the circumstances lining up in the Mavericks' favor at the time? I won't take it away from you, but it probably is somewhere both, you know, a little bit of column A, column B. I will agree with you. I do like Grant Williams for this team. I actually thought that was like probably the best thing they did this offseason, other than getting Seth Curry on a vet minimum. I thought was a great contract for them. I just don't get it, man. I just really don't get it. It seems like they're trying to lose Luka, if you ask me. It seems like everything they're doing is just it seems like the Cavaliers with LeBron that first run, you know, after they drafted him. Like, we're going to just throw stuff at the wall constantly with really no long-term intentionality, like, behind any of the moves, right? Like, say what you will about Kyrie and Luke out on the court, that whether or not they're hard to stop or not, dude, they're turnstiles. You know, you have literally two of the worst defenders at their spots in the league next to each other, and they have to be on the court every minute of every big game. So you have two incredible defensive liabilities right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no backup. There's like, who do you bring in if it's not going well? Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy, Seth Curry. I mean, I like Seth Curry, but it's not like any
I
of
like
these
Jaden
dudes.
Hardy.
I mean, I like Jaden Hardy too, but it's like that. It's not like they're gonna bring him in for additional scoring and sit Kyrie or Luka, right? Like
Yeah,
they need
yeah.
defense. So like they tried to get Matisse Thybulle, like that would have been a great signing for them. That actually would have answered a lot of problems for them because he could have been their like actual like answer to that problem, but they didn't get him. Obviously, Portland re-signed him. And ultimately, I think their center room is terrible, dude. It's not good. Like whatever you think about Derek Lively, he's not ready. Like he's a good player. He has
Yeah,
a
he's
lot of
19.
potential. He has a lot of potential, but if you watched him at Duke, the dude is not ready to play in like real playoff games. He's not there yet. Rashawn Holmes, who I did like, I liked a few years ago, he just could not buy minutes on Sacramento for one reason or
Yeah.
another. I just ultimately think this team has a lot of bad contracts and very little outs to any of them. And when it comes down to it, no matter what you think of Kyrie, I mean, is it really all that different than somebody like Kawhi or Paul George? It's not the same in terms of the injury, but dude, he's one decision away at any given moment from not being with the team. And I'm not saying it's always going to be the same thing with like, the pandemic and all that stuff. I'm not even bringing that stuff up necessarily. But we've seen time and time again, this dude he's looking out for himself. Whether that's right or wrong isn't the point. But if this season doesn't go well for this team, let's say Luka sprains his ankle and he's out for 6 weeks. What is this team doing for that 6 weeks? They're going to lose a ton of games if Luka's ever out. Kyrie, we saw with the Nets, like he didn't really do it, and then he gave up very quickly trying to do it. And mind you, that was the Nets situation, but yeah, man, I don't like it. I honestly think every team in the league, as soon as Dame got traded to Milwaukee, the Giannis hunt was over. I think everybody just laser focused in on Dallas. Like this team is a disaster waiting to happen, in my opinion.
Damn. So what do you have him in the mid-off?
Honestly, I think they're lottery bound, but I think mid-off is fair too. I just don't think they're good enough.
That is so spicy.
Maybe
They're not league pass worthy just off of Luka and Kyrie. I feel like
maybe they're all right. That's fair. I'll put them league pass worthy just for the Luka Kyrie part of it.
Damn.
I mean, I'm sorry, dude. I've watched Tim Hardaway Jr. enough times to know that guy is not getting you anywhere.
I think they'll move him, but I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I think they have some moves to make at some point in the season.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Omax too.
Like, what if let's say they had like a top 10 offense and a top 18 defense? What would you think of them?
I mean, if they could somehow figure that out, that's fine. I just don't think that's feasible. Like I don't know what they moved to go get anything. Like they gave up a ton of stuff to get Kyrie. Like it's not like they have a
Tim
Tim
and Jaden. Jaden has value, and I think Tim is like, he's on a good contract. I think it's an expiring.
Yeah, so I mean the contract's movable. It's just, but outside of that, what do you have? I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, there's a couple moves. Like another team. This is another team that should be calling about Robert Williams. They should be calling immediately. If they haven't already called today,
sure.
They're doing their team a disservice. Like, make the phone call. You need defense. You need a center. Go do anything. As long as Dwight Powell is this team's center, honestly, I don't think they're in the playoffs. But I think you're probably right, Brad. Like they're gonna have to do something. If this is what they're gonna just try and run out, I mean, Luka's asking out at the second the season's over. If this is the roster they have at the end of the year.
Yeah, there's no reason Dwight Powell should be starting all 82 games for them again. That's an abomination.
That's crazy,
as you guys would say.
It's beyond malpractice.
It's malpractice. Yeah.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Dwight Powell's a 15-minute a night guy.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
Josh Green should be starting on this team too. Just last thing.